It is Monday, July 20th, and that means it is day one of the reading rush. I am so excited.
Calm down. Calm down.
So, there has been some changes, of course, because your girl cannot stick to a single TBR that she has ever placed for herself. And I know myself. There is no way that I'm going to get all of those books done in a week. But I really want to try to get all of these challenges done. So, what I started today is one, the audiobook that I did the first one that you touch, which was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I haven't started it yet, but I am super excited to. Also, I will not be reading Beach Read because that's a pretty hefty book, but that means I will need a replacement for Read a Book That Matches the Color of Your Birthstone, but I have a solution. So what I will be reading instead, and have already started, is Give Yourself Goosebumps, R.L. Stine's collection of choose your own adventure books. And I am so excited. So I don't know if you can tell, but the background matches my birthstone so well. It's like this dark ember yellow. So this is going to be my birthstone book instead. And if you don't know, it's kind of like I said, a choose your own adventure. R.L. Stine wrote over 20 of these books that give you the opportunity to make the choices in the story. So if you are being chased and you want to go down the hallway, he says turn to page 4. Or if you want to go downstairs, go to page 40. And it is actually written as if the story is about you. So in this one that I've started, it's me and my two best friends, and there's this carnival in town. Oh, by the way, Escape from the Carnival of Horrors is the one that I chose. And so me and my two best friends are riding bikes together, and there's this carnival that's going to be opening tomorrow. So we go and check it out, and for some reason we decide to jump the fence, and we are stuck in this carnival of horrors, and the choices are left up to me of whether me and my two best friends survive. I'm so excited because these books are so nostalgic to me. I have been wanting to get my hands on quite a few of these because as much as I love regular Goosebumps, these were always my jam as a kid. And I am just so excited to get back into this nostalgic vibe. I just love these so much. I can already tell I'm gonna have such a good time reading this. I have made 2 choices so far, and I thought it was so funny because the first one, he gives us this choice of, do you want to jump over this fence, or it's getting pretty close to your curfew, don't you think you ought to be heading home? So I was like, what's gonna happen if I choose to go home? So I turned to that page, and he's like, no, 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 just kidding, you're not getting out that easy. It was like, it's a good thing that your best friend is usually the decision maker, so you jump the fence anyway. But I suppose it wouldn't be a very entertaining story if you just went home and went to bed. But I'm so excited to get into this. So when I was a kid, I remember sticking my fingers in where the decisions are to be made, because if I would turn the page and I died, I was like, nope, back up. So I would go back to where my finger was and choose the other choice. But I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm gonna read it one time all the way through and see if I survive. And whether I do or not, I can always go back and make different decisions the second time, because if I remember correctly, it's pretty quick getting through one read. I mean, these books are a little chunkier than regular Goosebumps just because there's 20 different endings, but I think one read through to one ending is pretty quick. So I should be able to see a couple different endings with this book. And I was worried about getting these on Kindle because of how I said that I used to stick my fingers into it, and I thought, how are they going to do this where you have to flip through different pages of this book? Am I going to have to like go into the menu and choose what page I want? But no, they make it so easy. So like when there's a decision to be made, at the bottom of that page, there's 2 links and you just click what page you want. So it's super convenient. They're only $2 a piece on the Kindle store. So if I enjoy this read as much as I think I will, I'm probably going to snag a couple more, just because, like I said, I just love them so much and they're so nostalgic. And I am going to get off here and try to survive this carnival of horrors, and I will get back to you when I have an update. Happy reading rush! Hello again, it's still Monday. Same shirt, different face. What's going on? I just did my photo shoot. It was legit like a photo shoot. I've been sitting here for like 30 minutes. Excuse me, 30 minutes. Just snapping pictures for the Reading Rush challenge number 1 on Instagram, which is replicate a book cover. And I did a little bit of a throwback. I was looking through the tag on Instagram and my hair does not want to sit like this. And I didn't see anybody do this book, so I'm pretty excited to post the pictures. If I would have been thinking, I would have recorded me doing my makeup, but as I'm sure you can tell, I don't do makeup very well. So it would have been a bunch of me pouting and blending a lot. So if you'd like, I'll give you a couple seconds to maybe guess what book cover I did. Imagine my hair is a little redder. It's kind of like an orange brown at the moment, but picture it red. Any guesses?
Okay, I'll tell you.
I did a book from one of my favorite series of all time. Granted, I haven't read it in a very long time. I do plan on rereading it. Possibly do a vlog about it. Not sure yet, but I did The Vampire Diaries, The Return Midnight. So every time I bring up this book, it infuriates me just a touch, because this is the last Vampire Diaries book that I read because my queen, L.J. Smith, was fired from her own book series, which I think is absolutely despicable.
Don't get worked up again.
And I could go on a tangent about it, but I'll spare you because I don't want to be sitting here for another half hour talking about how one of my favorite authors got betrayed by her own book company. So, I had a lot of fun doing this. This is the look that I tried to recreate. I do not have green eyes, but not too shabby, I don't think. So yeah, if you want to see those photos, you can go over to my Instagram and they will be there. So yeah, that's what I just spent the last, like, my hair does not like laying this way. This is what I spent the last 45 minutes of my life doing. No regrets. So I've been reading Goosebumps for about 20 minutes and I died. I did not make it out, guys. I'm not going to tell you the decisions that I made, but I will say that a swamp monster got me. So now I am free to, because I said I was going to go through it once without cheating, and that's what I did. And I died. Apparently, I'm not good at making decisions, so Now I'm going to jump around and see what shenanigans I can get into. I'll check in with you later. Why is it so hot? No. Stop it. Hello, it is Tuesday, day 2 of the reading rush. I have died a couple more times in my escape from the Carnival of Horror. So I think I'm going to keep reading until I find a way to survive, because I could technically call it done because I have died quite a few times, but I feel like I haven't read much of the book yet, so I want to go until I can find a way to survive. How long that'll take and how many endings do I have to go to get it? I don't know, but we'll see. I also read a little bit before bed last night. I read until about page 20 of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So I read probably about a dozen letters. If you don't know, The Perks of Being a Wallflower is written in letter format. Charlie is writing letters to this unknown friend. And I forgot how messed up his sister's relationship is. There is so much toxic going on in that relationship, and I don't remember what happens, but I hope that she wisens up. I unfortunately have a dentist appointment today, so that is where I am heading. I'm going to listen to Clap When You Land while I drive, and I will check in with you a little later. So I just got back from the dentist. I'm gonna try not to talk weird because my mouth is still numb from getting a filling, so we'll see how this goes. I was hungry when I finished up at the dentist, and I thought I deserved a treat, so I stopped and got me a pepperoni roll at one of my favorite little shops right by my house. It sells donuts and baked goods, and look at this pepperoni roll. It's as big as my face. It's like a loaf of bread. But it's so good. There's so much pepperoni in here. Oh my gosh. It just smells so good. I will not eat this whole thing in one sitting, but I thought I deserved a little treat after having to endure the dentist. So that's what I did. I also got about an hour listen to of Clap When You Land, and I am loving it so much. I'm trying to keep my emotions in check, because like these two girls in the story, I too lost my dad when I was 16, and I know the pain. So I can really relate to what these two ladies are going through. I mean, my dad didn't have a secret family, but I can really relate to these two ladies. I am looking forward to when they actually find out about each other so they can help each other heal and be there for each other. And I'm also loving the lesbian rep that I was not aware I was going to be getting, so that was a pleasant surprise. I also died 3 more times while I was at the dentist in my Goosebumps book. Still working on trying to find the way out of this Carnival of Horrors. So yeah, I'm going to eat some of this delicious pepperoni roll, read some Perks, and I will check back in with you later. So my sister got some makeup that she's gonna start selling, so I came over to get a facial. Hello. I am back home. I went down to my mom's to see my sister because she got some makeup. She's gonna start selling it, so she wanted to give me a makeover. So and if you're wondering why I'm wearing glasses, it's because tonight is D&D night, and I'm gonna be sitting in front of the computer for about 4 hours. So these are my blue light canceling glasses that I wear when I have to sit in front of electronics for a long time. I want to show you guys my character. She is so badass. Her name is Vizira. She is a half-elf druid. I have so many animals that I can turn into. And I absolutely love my Tuesday evening Dungeons and Dragon matches. I got my Chinese food, my Dungeons and Dragons. So it's gonna be a great Tuesday. So I listened to another hour of Clap When You Land while I was driving to and from my mom's. I am loving it so much. I've already cried like twice, just because, like I mentioned, this story really hits me. I probably won't read anymore tonight because D&D is over pretty late, so I will check back in with you tomorrow. It is Wednesday afternoon. I have been a little lazy today. I've not gotten a lot of reading done, so I am going to go have a late lunch and read something. Not sure what it's going to be, but I'm going to read something while I eat lunch. Okay, so let's talk about it. I am on chapter 4. I'm on page 35, and there are some pretty big differences between this comic and the movie. I don't want to give anything away for either of them, but I will say that the comic is, I feel like, definitely going to be a little darker and heavier, which I'm kind of excited for, kind of nervous for. I just hope that I still adore this story as much as I do now by the time I'm finished, and I'm sure I will. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's pretty on brand for the movie as far as plot, but there are definitely some differences in characters. So our second main character, not V, but there is a girl named Evie Hammond. There has been a lot of changes about her to make it movie appropriate, I guess. She is only 16 in the books, and she does not work for a news station, obviously. But I understand where they were going with those choices, and I think they were good choices to make with her working at the news station, because that is a huge part of this book, the media and the politics. I actually haven't watched the movie in a few years, and I am just loving this read because it is bringing back all of my love for this story. So worst comes to worst, this book can actually fulfill, I think, 3 of the categories. So one of them is the original one that I chose it for, which is a movie that you have watched and enjoyed, and the other 2 are the genre that you want to read more of, which is graphic novel. I have only read 1 or 2 previous to this one, so it is definitely something that I want to get more into, and a story that takes place in a different continent than yours, because this takes place in England as well. So I'm still going to try to read The Picture of Dorian Gray because I really do want to read it, but I have a backup plan if I need it. So I'm going to go read some more of this, and I will check back in with you later. Good morning. It is Thursday. I am on page 182 of V for Vendetta. I am on part 3 and I am absolutely loving it. The themes of this book are just so topical and so needed right now. There's this whole section where V is having this conversation with the Old Bailey, which he calls Lady Justice, and he is talking as both himself and Lady Justice, which also goes to show how kind of mentally he's not quite right. And I can't say why for spoilers, but he's not all there in the head, but he truly is doing what he believes is right and what will bring a change into this world.
Anarchy! 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 I don't even know what that means, but I love it!
So he's having this conversation with Old Bailey, exclaiming how the justice system has betrayed him and how disappointed he is in who she has become. And I just loved that part so much. Hello. I apologize if the camera looks different. The cat knocked my phone over, so let's get back into it. And although his methods are quite questionable sometimes, he's really doing what he thinks is best for the country. There was also this super cool part. I should have tabbed this because there's so many things that I would like to go back to. So the prelude to part 2 is done in this song. So you have to like flip the book over, and it's called The Vicious Cabaret. And the first few pages are done in this song form. And I actually looked up on YouTube the song because I was really hoping that I could find it, because I can kind of follow sheet music, but not very well. So I looked it up on YouTube, and it is an actual song, and it was just so magical to listen to it and go along and look at these graphics. I just thought it was the coolest freaking thing. There's no spoilers in the song, so if you want to go give it a listen, it is magical, and I will leave it down in the description. It's so catchy and fun, but if you listen to the words, it's kind of like a warning and foreboding to what's to come and kind of what has happened so far in a vague sense. I've just never seen anything like that in a book or in a comic or in a graphic novel, but like I said before, I'm just now kind of delving into the graphic novel genre, but I just found that so cool. I listened to it like 3 times because it's amazing. This book is broken up into 3 parts, and I am on part 3, so I am about a third away from the ending, and I know where it's headed if it follows the movie, which makes me really sad, but I am loving this graphic novel. It has held up so well to my expectations. It has actually probably exceeded them, because I wasn't sure I could love anything more than the movie, but I should have known. But I was a little skeptical of a graphic novel because I am new, but I am absolutely loving it. So I have to run some errands today. I have to go to the grocery store. I might stop by Goodwill to see if they have any good books. I go there probably once or twice a month. I'm going to go make my grocery list, and then I'm gonna head out and I will listen to Clap When You Land while I'm out. So I've made the decision that I'm going to make Clap When You Land the book that I read while outside, because I always read my audiobook while I'm in the car, and the weather has not been very nice to me with the reading outside challenge. So I'm just going to read Clap When You Land in the car while I'm driving, and that will knock off that challenge. I will check back with you after my errands. Y'all, I finished Clap When You Land while I was out grocery shopping, and it was so good. It was so sweet, and I loved the family dynamic. And even though these 2 ladies just found out about each other, their sisterly love was just so freaking cute. Elizabeth Acevedo did it again. I cannot wait to get my hands on all of her other books because The Poet X and Clap When You Land were both fantastic. It blows my mind how she can write fiction poetry, because when I think about poetry, I think about things coming from the heart and speaking of past experience, but her way to write poetry around fictional characters and create a whole fictional story in verse is just breathtaking. I should be able to finish V for Vendetta tonight because I only have a third left. I'm going to go take a walk with my mom at the park, but I don't have any plans for the evening, so after I walk, I'm gonna come back and bust out the rest of V for Vendetta so I can finish Perks of Being a Wallflower, because I started Perks of Being a Wallflower, but then I started V for Vendetta and just couldn't stop. So I'm gonna finish V for Vendetta before hopping back into Perks. So I will check back in this evening after I finish V for Vendetta because I am determined to finish it tonight. Well, this is not how I expected my evening to go. I went on a walk with my mom and we found a wounded goose, and we have spent the past like 30 to 40 minutes calling around, seeing if we could get in contact with DNR or anything, but I finally found a vet who will take the goose, so we called on a couple friends and we are going to try to get this goose into my car so I can drive it an hour away to the only vet that will take a wounded bird. Wish me luck. So we're trying to catch this poor baby. We have towels and a box, but I was under the assumption it could not fly. It can indeed. Poor thing. Oh. We're trying to feed it to get it to calm down, but we're trying to get it into a box so I can take it to a vet.
At the moment, we're chasing a wounded goose.
But every time we get close to it, it just flies away. I really don't want to leave it here, but I also don't want to get in an accident if it gets out of the box in my car. I was not expecting this stress today. So, goose update here. After about 20 minutes of running around in the rain, chasing this poor goose. I feel so bad saying chasing it. We're trying to help it. But, I mean, in all reality, we were kind of chasing it. So after like 20 minutes of chasing this poor wounded goose, trying to help it, we got in contact with a family friend who is retired from the DNR. He has worked at a national park for 49 years, so I trust his judgment, and he suggested one of two things. One, the first one that he highly recommends, is to leave the bird alone. Apparently, geese get broken legs all the time. If they can still fly, which this one can, as you saw, that they will be just fine. Or option two, if we are bound and determined to do something, we would have to wait until dark, until it gets calmed down, and then go about our plan of covering it with a towel or a blanket and getting it in a box and taking it to a vet. After a little powwow, we decided to go with option one, which is leave the bird alone. I'm not a vet, and I feel like our DNR friend knows more than I do. So as much as it hurts to leave this wounded goose here at the park, it's what I'm gonna have to do, because he seems to think that moving it with the only thing wrong with it being a broken leg would cause more harm than good. So that's what I did. So I'm gonna head home now, get a shower, because I've got rained all over, and settle down, because I was not expecting this anxiety today. I finished it. It was so freaking good. The ending to this graphic novel was so much more powerful than the movie. Like, they left out so much of the ending, and I'm so disappointed, but I'm so glad I read this because it was fantastic. After the book ended, there was like pages upon pages of concept art and articles from the creators, and it was just so cool. I'm so glad I got this. There's so many things I want to say about this book and the movie, but I'm not going to give any spoilers because I highly suggest you either pick this up. Well, I would suggest this if you can, but if not, the movie was still fantastic. I suggest you watch it if you haven't, because it's a great movie, but this was better. And this book actually completed 3 challenges because I don't think I'm gonna get the Picture of Dorian Gray finished before the end of Sunday. So this will count for the movie that I've seen and loved, a book taking place in a different continent, and a book genre that you don't read a lot, which is graphic novels. I read about 60 more pages of Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm probably about 60% through with it. I'm not gonna lie, I had me tearing up a little bit. Just Charlie's depression around his birthday and the holidays is so real, and it's heartbreaking to read about. Stephen Chbosky does such a good job at writing feelings without taking up too much of your time, and it's just magical. I'm about to go on a walk with my mom, and when I get back I am going to try my best to finish The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Guys, I finally did it. I managed to survive the Carnival of Horrors. I died probably 12 to 15 times, but I finally found like 2 actual living endings, so I can check that one off the list. It is Friday evening. I worked a full day today, so I haven't got much reading done today, but I did manage to finish Goosebumps last night. I'm going to go make dinner. I'm pretty excited. I've never tried what I'm about to make before. I saw the recipe on Pinterest, so you know how those usually go, but it seems pretty simple. Okay, if I look a little different, I had to shut the door because my husband's watching television, so if you hear something in the background, that's what it is, and I apologize. So it's like this sheet pan shrimp boil, and it just looked so good. We kind of get stuck in having the same meals every few weeks on rotation, so I'm always looking for unique new things to try, so I'm pretty excited. I'll let you know how it turns out. After we have dinner and watch a movie, I am going to try my best to finish The Perks of Being a Wallflower tonight, and if not tonight, early tomorrow. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna go attempt to make some dinner, and I'll check back in with you later. So I finally finished The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which was the last book that I wanted to get done before the reading rush ended. So success! It was very, very good. I gave it 4 stars this time. I believe I gave it 4 stars the last time I read it. This was my second time reading it, and I forgot a lot that happened. I forgot what we find out happened at the end, which I don't know how, because it explains so much of Charlie's behaviors and how he acts towards relationships. But I really enjoyed my reread, and I'm glad I read it again. So these are all of the books that I completed for the reading rush this year, along with Clappin' You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, which I read on audiobook. It may not look like a lot compared to a lot of the other rushers' reading piles, but I'm pretty proud of myself. 4 books in 1 week is a really good reading week for me, even though one was a children's book, one was a very short book, one was a graphic novel, and one was an audiobook written in verse, but I'm still giving myself a little pat on the back for finishing all the challenges and reading 4 books in a week. Because I think that's the most books I've ever read in 1 week. So I am very happy with my reading week. So I'll go ahead and give you guys a little mini wrap up of all of the books that I completed this week. The first book that I completed was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I gave it 4 stars. I absolutely loved it. I love Elizabeth Acevedo's writing style. Her poetry is just so gorgeous, and I love listening to her audiobooks. The next book that I finished was V for Vendetta, and I'm pretty sure you all know by now how I feel about this book. I raved on about it all week. It was 5 stars. The next book I completed is Escape from the Carnival of Horrors by R.L. Stine. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 3 stars. It was so much fun reading through and going through all the different endings. It was just so nostalgic, and I really enjoyed my read of it. And last but not least, what we just talked about, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which again, I gave 4 stars. I love the writing style of this book, and it's so cool that it's written in letters, but it still grips you in and you still get so much character development. I really enjoyed it. So that has been my reading rush. I had such a good time. This was my first reading rush ever participating in, and it was so much fun. I already can't wait till next year's. I hope everyone that participated had a wonderful time, and please, if you participated, let me know down in the comments, and if you vlogged it, let me know, because I love watching the reading rush vlogs. And I believe that is it. I've had such a fun week reading and participating with everybody, doing sprints on Twitter and doing Bookstagram challenges. It was just so much fun, and I hope everybody had a good time, and I hope you have a good day, a good week. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.